Columbus to Greenville, eating up the mileage on our horses made of steel. Starting out, we got a long way to ride.
Welcome to episode next of MotorMouths, very appropriately named. I'm Brian.
I'm Ronnie.
So, what have you been up to?
Well, not a lot really. Just living life. Went down to my other shop in Hinesville and put a new washing machine in down there. Did a little ride with the guys the other day.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was fun. Yeah, you were busy. You, what have you been up to? You went out of town, didn't you?
Went to Indiana. Took the RV. Took Bob up to Indiana with Katie, Josh, and the girls. Had a real good time. Weather was wonderful. It was maybe a high of 70-something. Perfect
Nice.
Camping weather. Amusement park. Lorelei, bless her heart, just she loves it up there. She has silly, we call them her little Lolo-isms, if you will. We were going to an amusement park, and she didn't want to ride any roller coaster that had hoop-de-loops.
Hoop-de-loops.
She
Okay.
didn't want to do any hoop-de-loops. So
Nice.
it was a lot of fun. So,
Nice.
And then you went to Biloxi. Show me the money. I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah, my nephew's getting married in September, and he wanted to do his bachelor party in Biloxi. He just turned 21, so he wanted to do that. So we graced him with our presence. I was like, why do you want to take an old man to your bachelor party? He's like, you guys are fun to be with. So there's that.
I sense a theme. Also, I'm excited today.
Why?
We're getting political. We're going to get really political today.
Well, are we?
Yes, we are.
Okay, let's get political then.
Okay. Because we have the president of CSU with us.
Woo! Welcome.
That's not political.
It's as political as we get.
Political as we're going to get.
Okay.
There's the word president in there, so that's all good. So first of all, thank you for agreeing to come on here and talk with us. But as we're going to do with the rest of the writers and everything, tell us a little bit about yourself. How was it growing up? Where did you grow up? What got you here?
So I grew up in God's country, Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Roll Tide. Yes.
Absolutely. Born and raised there. And when it was time for me to go to college, I was like most seniors in high school. Like I wanted to go away to college. I wanted to do something different. I'd been in Tuscaloosa for all of my life. And so when I thought about the University of Alabama, I wanted something completely different. So think small town, large university. So I was like, I want a big city and a small college. So I ended up going to Rhodes College in Memphis, Tennessee. And total student population about that time was 1,200. When I walked to the first football game on campus, my high school stadium was bigger than Rhodes Football Stadium.
Wow.
But it was a fantastic place for me to be. Especially during a time where it was kind of a little bit of a roller coaster for me in that I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like I didn't come in with like, I want to be an accountant or I want to be a teacher or, I want to be a doctor. I really had no idea what I wanted to be. So it was kind of an up and down, and I ended up taking a semester off and coming back and then transferring, but then coming back. And so, but anyway, I did graduate in the 4 years. But during that time, I think this is important, just how I got in higher ed. During that time, there were a lot of people at the university who kind of wrapped their arms around me. My dad passed away while I was in college. Like I said, I transferred, I came back. It wasn't a straight, narrow ride. It was up and down, up and down. And so after I graduated, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Because I graduated with a bachelor's degree in political science. It turned out people were not banging on my door trying to hire me. And so I had to kind of be more thoughtful about what I wanted to do. And so I ended up calling somebody who worked at Rhodes, who had been one of those people who wrapped her arms around me during that time. And I said, I think I want your job. How do I get it? And so that really was kind of the first conversation I had about trying to get into higher education. And from there, I have been in higher education since 1996. And except for 2 years when I worked at TSIS here in town. But I worked in their education department, so it made sense.
Yeah. So a real quick story about that. My daughter, Katie,
Yes.
First of all, let me say that both of my children have their undergraduates and their masters from CSU.
Yes.
So coming out of high school, Katie, she wanted to get out of Columbus.
Yep.
She wanted out of here, and she applied at UGA,
Mm-hmm.
and she got deferred. Okay, we kind of like you, but we don't know yet.
Yeah.
And so she was a little hopeful, and then she got the letter in January, said, we're going to pass.
Yeah.
And that was devastating to her.
Yeah.
She was not happy about that. She had her heart set on getting out of here, getting up at Athens.
Yep.
So she was looking at other schools. She was looking at Georgia Southern, and then she said, I'll just go to CSU. Kind of that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just go to CSU. Well, then she got at CSU. She got involved in the Greek life.
Yeah.
And she wound up loving it here, loving it so much that after she graduated, she worked here for 10 years.
Yep.
So my wife and I support CSU. We love our hometown school, but it was interesting that Katie had something similar. She was looking to get out of here,
Yep.
but wound up staying here and absolutely fell in love with it. So.
Yeah. Well, when I was transferring back to the University of Alabama because of my 8 girlfriends from high school. 6 of them went to the University of Alabama. I went to Rhodes in Memphis, and then my best friend went to school in Colorado. She went to Boulder. And so I had these 6, best friends that were they're all living together still. They're doing things together. It happened to be the year that Alabama won the national championship in 1991. And so
you're thinking which one?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. This is the Gene Stallings one. And so, they were having a great time, and it was just, comparing the 2 experiences. So there was a draw home as well.
Yeah.
So from your path to college, tell us how that took you from there to CSU.
Okay. Well, so my first, so I worked at Alabama. I got my master's at Alabama, and I worked there for a little bit, did some stuff in leadership development, Greek life, and then started a doctoral program at Alabama. And the faculty at the time were saying, what's your dissertation going to be? And they kind of kept hounding me, and I didn't know. And so finally I said, I'm not ready for the doctoral program because I'm not ready to commit to, a specific topic to do research on. So I ended up starting to apply for jobs, and I think this is important. So I applied and got a job at Middle Tennessee State University in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And it was one of my favorite places that I've worked. Columbus State is my favorite, and I'll talk about why in a second. But Middle Tennessee, it was really great because when you think about some of the student body who I was working with at the University of Alabama. I was doing some stuff in Greek life. I was doing stuff in leadership development, orientation, and student affairs. People who were very actively involved on campus. They had a sense of entitlement. May not be the right word, but they were less engaged because they knew what their path was. And after I worked at MTSU, I did finally decide to go back and get my doctorate, and I did that at Vanderbilt. And eventually I quit my job at MTSU and went to work at Vanderbilt because they were paying my tuition, which was a lot. And so I went to work with them, and it was a change back to the type of student I was working with was similar to Alabama. And what I realized in that moment, that time period, was it was a mission like MTSU, where for those students who go to school there, it's not a given that they're going to go to college. it is, if you're going to Vanderbilt, you're going to college. It's just a matter of where. If you're going to Alabama, there are some students, probably more so now than back then, who college wasn't an automatic. But if you're at Vanderbilt, it is. And what I found was I could have a better impact and had more meaningful relationships with the students at Middle Tennessee State University because they were hungry for this experience, you know? And so a lot of first generation college students at that time who felt, you know, really excited to be at college. They knew it was a big deal for them. And so from Vanderbilt, I went to Auburn, which was, I was following my husband.
Were you hungry? Why?
Yeah, exactly. I was. This is how I looked at it. I would take my salary from Auburn and I would donate some of it back to Alabama. So it gave me a sense of okay. Because I grew up in Tuscaloosa, a big Alabama fan. My husband grew up in Mobile. He is a huge Alabama fan. And so he takes full responsibility for bringing me this way. So he and I had started dating when I was at Vanderbilt. He was in law school at Alabama. We had gone to undergraduate together. And so he said pretty early in our dating that he was moving to Phoenix City, Alabama to practice law. And he just needed me to know that out of the gate before we got real serious. And so thinking about how I got this way, I followed David this way. And so Phoenix City, by the way, does not have a public defender. They farm those cases out to local attorneys and then they get paid by the hour from the state. And so he knew immediately he wanted to go into the courtroom. He did not want to sit and write briefs for 7 years and said this was his way to do that. So anyway, I followed him. And so Auburn was close by. And anyway, did that for a while. When we decided to have kids, we were like, well, we were living on the Lake Harding, in a Carolina blue double wide trailer that my mother was like, you have a doctorate, your husband has a law degree. What are we doing here?
Trust the process.
But yes, I was commuting to Auburn and he was commuting into Phoenix City. And so when we decided to have kids, we decided to move into Columbus. And about that time, he had changed to a firm that was in Columbus. But Columbus State didn't have anything open at the time that we were moving in. So that's when I worked at TSIS. And I'm so thankful that I got a chance to work there. My best friends today are the people that I met when I worked at TSIS. But from there, when I was on maternity leave, I was like, am I going to go back to work? Or am I going to stay at home? Am I going to drop this baby off, or I want to have something really meaningful to do. And so I started looking again, and the director of the Servant Leadership Program at Columbus State was open. And so I applied while I was on maternity leave with my older daughter, and started here at Columbus State in 2006, was here for 10 years, and then left for 7 years. And then came back in 2023. But going back to MTSU and understanding kind of the student population there, when I came to Columbus State, it was MTSU on steroids for me. It was meaningful. It was impactful. The students here are amazing. They are hungry for the experiences and the opportunities that we were trying to provide them for leadership development and experiences that they may not have had otherwise. And again, I felt like I was with a group of sponges, my students. They were soaking up everything. And that's not to say that they're all perfect and they were all just focused on their studies, but they were soaking up the experience of being in college. And so that's what has made me so committed to the mission of Columbus State, because you see the transformation that it can make in students' lives.
I like how she said that. Make a difference in one child's life.
Exactly.
Yep. All right, so I'm going to lean into something that is hard for a lot of people to understand.
Sure.
So you've got this wonderful school on steroids here that we all love, and there's a tremendous amount of money flowing in and around here. So explain to maybe people that don't understand, how do you get by on a state budget versus how do you take a gift of $1 million from the Miracle Riders, and how's that transformational? What's the difference there? Why should we give CSU $1 million?
Sure. So I can think of several reasons why. I'm going to start with what I think is probably one of the most important reasons. And really it's the impact on our students' lives. So make a difference in a child's life. We need to get away on our campus from calling them children because most of them are 18 or above. So we say make a difference in a student's life. This is transformational for these students when they come here. And the Miracle Riders have invested, and I think of this as an investment. They have invested in our nursing students in a way that is paying dividends throughout our community and other communities. So when I think of servant leadership just generally, and I'm going to put it in the context of this, it's like throwing a rock in a lake. There are ripples that go out, and those ripples are the impact that you have, and you never really know where they're going to end. And so the Miracle Riders and the money that they've raised are having a significant impact on the education and the training of students who are going to be going into hospitals. They're going to be going into doctors' offices. They're going to be treating patients. They're going to be walking alongside patients who, for the most part, don't want to be where they are. They're going to be interacting with families who are under extraordinarily stressful conditions. I think back to the most recent NICU mannequins that y'all were able to provide for us. You think about the stress and the fear, the anxiety that families have when they have a child in the NICU. Prior to y'all raising money for us to be able to have the NICU mannequins, our students did not have the ability to interact with a preemie baby unless they were in the NICU at the hospital. And frankly, that's the last place that you want them to start. And so having the ability to have access to the latest and greatest technology is so important. And so I think the impact is the biggest reason. Our students will go on to have careers that span 25, 30, 40 years. They're going to be treating patients all that time. They're going to be interacting with other nurses. And I'll give you just a real quick, Nancy Marino, who retired as my executive assistant a while back, about a year ago, actually. Within a few months, her husband was diagnosed with cancer. And so they were put into the hospital because he would have chemo over 7-day periods. So he wasn't going to John B. Amos. He had to go into the hospital at Piedmont. Every single nurse he had was a CSU graduate. She would take a selfie with them and send it to me. And it was a good reminder that what we are doing in the classrooms across the board, regardless of discipline, but when you think about nursing, it is so important because she's in the room, Raymond was in the room, they're in a very stressful time, but they had confidence in the care that they were receiving because Nancy had a first row seat to the quality of our nursing program. And a lot of that's due in part to what we're able to do on our campus before they get into their clinical rotations. And so it makes a huge difference. But when you think about Columbus State University, we have, what seems like a massive budget. Why aren't we buying these things for ourselves? Well, the state will fund a good university. And if you're satisfied with a good university, then you don't need private dollars. But if you want to elevate and have a great university, it will always take private dollars to be able to do that. Institutions throughout our state, both at the University System of Georgia institutions, as well as our technical college schools throughout the state, we all rely on private dollars and private investments to be able to do the things that we do. And so while it seems like our budget is, large enough, think of this, this university is like its own city. We have, there's a lot of infrastructure that goes into just keeping these buildings cooled, heated during the winter, keeping everybody kind of in a safe environment. We've got our own police force, so our money gets eaten up in a lot of ways to provide kind of those non-negotiable essential services on the campus. We're able to really use the private dollars to elevate what we're doing in the classroom and the experience for our students.
So one quick follow-up.
Yes.
I don't believe you were here yet when Scott made the commitment of $1 million. But
Yes.
Let me ask you this. Would those sim labs exist? Were they on the radar without that $1 million?
They were on the radar as a dream. We knew what we needed, and I wasn't here. That was during my hiatus outside of CSU. But absolutely, they were on the radar, but they were not a possibility. They were just a dream. And so the Miracle Riders have the work and the money that y'all have raised and donated back to CSU have made those dreams come true, which has enabled us to be able to educate students in a much more powerful way so that they're getting hands-on experience before they go into the hospital. 100%. Couldn't have done it without that. And we've got just for, I guess, maybe some new listeners who are just joining, we have, you can go deliver a baby because of y'all. In our sim lab, you can work on a pediatric mannequin also because of y'all. And most recently, the NICU babies who I think there are 3 of them, and one you can hold just barely in your hand, and then they get progressively a little bit bigger. But when you go in, when we did that opening for the NICU sim lab, when you hold and put one of those little mannequins in your hand, you realize the power of what these nurses are going to be doing. And if they're only holding a real baby in their hand for the first time when they're in the hospital, I don't think that's what we want. And so this has been just such advances our nursing program in ways that we would not have been able to do with just our state dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've been through the NICU, and it used to be part of our rookie orientation, if you will. And when you walk through there, Dr. Levine would walk us through there, and these parents are sitting at this incubator bed that we bought, that these people that are sitting around their child, they don't know why we're walking through there necessarily. Yeah. And the look in their eyes, it's not hollow, it's help. They're just looking up and just saying, help me.
Yeah.
And their eyes, and they're saying thank you, but their eyes are like pleading for help.
Yeah.
I'm getting chicken
I
skin.
I am too. I'm tearing up and I'm getting chills. So the week before I started this job in 2006, one of my best friends who I had worked with at Middle Tennessee State University, she had her first daughter who came very, very early. So I went up to go stay with her, and we would go visit Kate in the hospital. And actually, it's my friend Maggie who joined us in Chattanooga. She lives in Chattanooga now.
Yeah.
Her first daughter was born in the NICU, and it was one of those where like her husband's wedding ring like fit on her leg. And so I had never, she was my first close friend who had a child who had to go to the NICU. And that was a traumatic experience because it's just so unfamiliar. And it is shocking. It really is. So I can absolutely see when y'all are doing your orientation, seeing those parents like a deer in head. I mean, what do you do? And but now we've got nurses who are going to be going into that NICU at Piedmont who will have worked on
Been there, done that.
Yeah, yeah.
Got it.
Exactly.
With confidence.
Yes.
And I want to see that. If it's
yes.
my child or grandchild, I want to see that confidence.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think you kind of touched on it a little bit, but ultimately, what do you think the impact of those labs are going to have, not only as the students, but the community as a whole?
So I think, when you look at any community and you think about the health of the community, you're looking at what are the economic opportunities to come in and get a job. You're looking at what are the educational resources within the community. You're looking at healthcare and what sort of healthcare do you have available in your community. When we think about Columbus as our community, when we think about how do we make this a community where we can all live, work, play, and have a meaningful life, those are the things that you're looking for. Those are the kind of the basics of what you need. And I think that the way that we do healthcare is so vitally important as we are trying to recruit new businesses to come here, as we are trying to recruit new people to move to Columbus, Georgia. One of the first questions is going to be, what's your healthcare look like? Especially as we see so many communities losing healthcare as a part of the fabric of their community. In rural Georgia, we are losing hospitals every year. Which means we're losing access. And so our role in providing healthcare providers, is so incredibly important for the future of this community, because all it takes is for several companies to leave here, for there not to be enough population to warrant having really 4 hospitals here in town, when you include Martin Army, when you include Houston, St. Francis, Emory, and Piedmont. We are so fortunate in this community to have access to this healthcare, but it's not something we should ever take for granted, because we see communities all around us that are losing that. And so one of the ways that we're able to have and continue this is because of the Mercer Medical School, because of Columbus State University, because of Columbus Tech, and all of the degree programs that we have that fill those hospitals, the doctor's offices, with qualified, high quality individuals who are doing this. And so I think the benefit is not just to that one patient who's going to receive care. It's really a community benefit. And like I said, we're very fortunate to have access.
I never thought about that, as we do our thing and we make a difference in one child's life, and then we were able to fund these sim labs, but I never had a thought what that would do to the community.
Yeah.
Like if there's some prospective company wanting to come to town, well, what do you got over there? Oh, yeah. Okay, that's cool. They don't have it at anywhere else in Georgia.
Yeah.
You're damn right they don't. They got it right here at CSU.
It means a lot. And I don't think that we always think about that. I mean,
I didn't. You just...
Yeah. But every business depends on customers. And the more customers we have, the more businesses are able to thrive. And so I heard somebody one time say, yeah, well, Columbus State, I mean, I don't hire people from Columbus State. Okay, that's fine. And the nature of the business was not our degrees. It was more aligned with Columbus Tech and some of their degree programs. I said, but when you think about a workforce from soup to nuts in any community, you're going to need people who have no college degree at all. You're going to need some that have a 2-year degree or a certificate of some sort. You're going to need some with 4-year degrees, master's, doctoral. You're going to need the gamut And the more you have, the more your business is going to thrive. And so right now, and this is true kind of in economic development all over, the number one question is, what's your workforce pipeline? How are you going to get me employees? If I'm going to move to your city and I'm going to bring 500 new jobs, how are you going to help me fill those jobs? And I think that is a key piece of having a community that is able to support 500 new jobs. Well, 500 new jobs means new kids in a school system. It means more pressure on healthcare because you're bringing in new people to be able to fill some of those jobs. You're going to retool some people for them, but it's a whole package, and we need to be able to say that we can provide the best all the time. And I know when I was pregnant and was thinking about where I was going to deliver, and at that time St. Francis was not an option, but it was Piedmont or doctors' hospitals, really Midtown Medical or doctors. I wanted to be at Midtown Medical, Piedmont now, because of the NICU. Because if anything went wrong, I didn't want there to have to be an ambulance ride from across the street, basically. But those are calculations that people are making every single day. And the fact that we're able to provide education that supports that in particular means that we're going to be able to stand up. That also takes people like Dr. Levine as well.
Incredible man.
Dear friend of the ride.
Absolutely.
So we are blessed with the Miracle Ride of having a lot of great sponsors. And, one of the biggest ones that we've had forever, obviously, is Country's, Country's Barbecue. And the wife makes me take her there during dumpling season, which starts in January. We go 2 or 3 times a week. Now it's my turn because it's cream corn.
Yes.
And July 1st, they started blueberry pie. So I have a lot of reasons to go eat at Country's. One thing, chili. I have chili every time I go in there. It's 110 out there right now.
Yeah.
I will go have chili. I love the chili.
See, for me, it's the onion dip.
Boy, that's good too. So I don't know. I'm not asked Scott for his secrets, and I don't want him.
Yeah.
Miss Carrie does all the desserts back there. She's a huge Braves fan too. But Country's has obviously been very good to the ride. But CSU has a relationship with Country's as well.
Yeah.
That's a really neat thing, and my grandchildren get to participate in that.
They do. Country's this year sponsored Children Free for all athletic events. And we saw a huge uptick in our attendance because of that. It's hard these days to be able to take your kid for an afternoon or an evening of fun and excitement without spending a pretty ridiculous amount of money. And so Country's has enabled families to be able to bring their kids out and watch some pretty stellar sporting events. Our basketball teams, both our men and women, did a phenomenal job this year. They were so fun to watch. And so we were loading up the Lumpkin Center with kids because they could go for free. Same with our baseball and softball, just having a presence. And, for that purpose, we're really a community asset in that way. But Country's makes it accessible to all kids to be able to come and enjoy and partake without having to spend a fortune.
Yeah.
You can't go to the movies for a family without spending about $100.
Probably more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Toy Story 5 is out. I'm about to find that out.
Yes.
So my granddaughter Piper loves to walk around campus, and she loves Cody. Back when she was little, Cody the Wooger.
The
Wooger.
I love that.
So Cody the Wooger, but they love interacting with Cody when Cody walks around. And I'll be straight up honest. I'm not a soccer fan. I don't know anything about it. I don't get it. But the wife and I, Linda and I, would come to the women's games because, and here's what I like: you can hear what's going on. You can hear them talking to each other. You can see them communicate. And you watch. You can see them set up a play, and it's like wow. And they're very good.
Yes.
So you've got a jewel in Coach Entlick.
He's amazing.
He is.
Our women's soccer team. So let me just give you a couple little facts about our women's soccer team. They go to the national competition every single year. It's just a matter of how far they make it. But they also have the highest GPA of any sports team. They usually run about a 3.7 for the entire group. And I think in the fall this is in the middle of their season. That's why I'm using the fall. I think they had 14 players who had a 4.0.
Wow.
And about half of that team is in the servant leadership program. And so they're also doing community service hours as well. That group of women, I mean, we should all hire every single one of them because they have shown a commitment to excellence. They're going to put the time in, do the work all the time, but they also have a servant's heart and they're smart.
Nice.
Well, Piper just finished soccer camp. I know cheer camp's coming up.
Yes.
So again, when we come to the basketball games, Piper and Lorelai both interact with the cheerleaders. They know them all. They point and they wave and we do all that stuff. So anyway, my family's very connected to CSU, athletically and in other ways. I give some of my own money.
Yes.
Didn't go to the Miracle Ride Fund. I sent it straight to CSU.
And we appreciate that.
I gotta take care of hometown.
Yes.
I will wear my gear.
Yes.
I don't wear my Indiana stuff. I don't wear my Georgia stuff when I come to CSU events. I wear my CSU gear.
I appreciate that.
So it's like, no, I'm supporting this team here today.
Well,
there might be Indiana under it, but
I will be more than happy to trade out with any of your listeners, any of their gear for CSU gear. So if anybody wants to turn in a UGA t-shirt, we will make sure that we get you a brand spanking new, wonderful Columbus State University
watch it. I hope that goes over big. I really do.
Yep.
I really do.
Yep.
So I started with the countries, but you had Scott give the commencement speech. Now, everybody has a boss. But how did you get that one through?
Well, I will tell you, Scott's story and his heart, we should replicate that in every possible way that we can. We should expose people every single day to Scott and his heart for service. And that's really, we're celebrating students earning their degree, but we're also sending them off into their next during commencement. And it's not just about the degree, it's about the person. And I can think of no better person to put in front of a bunch of recent college grads. And I say recent college grads, I'm not just talking about our very traditional age population. I'm talking about our doctoral students sitting on the front row during the College of Education commencement. Every single one of them needs to be thinking about what their impact is going to be beyond. They've earned the degree. For so many of them, they already have their job lined up, or they've got their admission to graduate school, or they know where they're going to be stationed if they are commissioning. And what we want to do is leave them with this idea that that's not all of who they are. And that's not all that is going to be expected of them. So Scott was the perfect commencement address speaker because his story is what we want from every single one of our graduates. And the story that he has is agnostic of whether you have a degree or you don't have a degree. It's about who you are as a person and what you choose to spend your life on. And that's what his message was to our students. Now, it was also really cool that your commencement speaker arrives in Lumpkin Center on his Harley.
How did you get that approved? That's what I want to know.
I'm the approver.
Well, there you go. There you go.
But I think that is going to be so memorable for every student who was graduate that was in that room, all their family members, when they look back on that, they're immediately going to think about the motorcycle, but the motorcycle will then lead them to think about the message.
That's true. And Brian and I were fortunate enough to be there to attend, and we were there just because we had to make sure Scott's bike would start.
Of course.
Three times, because he gave 3 different speeches.
He did.
And he literally gave 3 different speeches because he had no notes for any of them. and he says it in each one. You know, he does it from the heart.
Yes.
He doesn't need a script.
Yeah.
He doesn't need anything.
Mm-hmm.
But
his message was always the same.
Absolutely.
And that's why we wanted him to be the speaker.
Sure.
Because of the message.
Absolutely.
It was perfect.
That's right. So one other thing happened during the commencement that blew my mind that I didn't know was going to happen. A certain person that's in a leadership role, you know, there's a lot of pomp and circumstance, and you know,
I believe the garb is called regalia.
It is.
Okay.
It is.
Okay.
Regalia.
There you go.
Everybody's in their regalia.
Everybody's in their regalia.
Yes.
It's very, very structured and very, you know, there's so many things that has to
Well,
be
they call
done.
it pomp and
Tradition.
circumstances for
Yeah,
a reason.
Correct.
Yes.
A lot
Correct.
of pomp and circumstance.
And I was standing side backstage, and lo and behold, someone, what did you call it?
Regalia.
The regalia. Just tore off their regalia. And what were you wearing?
I was wearing a vest, a leather vest that made me kind of an honorary member of the Miracle Riders. So I have my own vest. It's got the CSU logo on it. It's got my name on it. And I was fortunate enough in 24 to be able to join y'all on the ride in Indianapolis. And not in Columbus, Indiana.
That's right.
I flew into Indianapolis. So I joined y'all on the ride to celebrate, you know, and just to have fun. But then I got to ride from Macon to Columbus. And so I think for that reason, I was deemed kind of that year an honorary. And I wear that vest every chance I get. I feel like a badass when I wear it. and people look at me different, and I like that. But it was also, you know, I mean, I feel like y'all are a family, and I feel like I'm just, you know, maybe a stepchild in that family. I get to be a part of the work that y'all do. And so, anyway, it was fun for me to bring a little bit of levity to what is a very important and a celebration that is so meaningful, but also to make it memorable and to show my adoration and my support for Scott and for the work y'all do.
Did the rest of the faculty have any idea you were going to do that?
No.
And did they get...
No, I think they all had smiles on their faces. Everybody that I could see had a smile on their face. And I very properly went back to my chair and eventually put my regalia back on.
Which I understand.
Yes,
You know, we've got to do that. But I can't imagine that's happened too many times across this country, let alone state.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not.
First time I've ever seen it.
Yes.
Well, you should have seen us backstage. You know, Hail Mary, please make this motorcycle start. We had it on a battery tender the whole time. I was there to, I don't know, hold the phone for Ronnie. If something broke, he could have fixed it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like, oh, Scott, he's got to go. Crank, we were high-fiving. Yeah, we got her done.
Yep.
That's good.
For sure.
Well, that's actually the exact same sentiment that every single graduate in there was thinking. They were like, oh, final exams. Got her done. Let's go.
Yeah.
So we had 3 final exams that day.
We did.
You absolutely did. You passed all of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, by the way, I'm very, very proud of this.
Yes.
Very proud of my alumni, or honorary alumni.
Yes.
So, I do wear it a lot.
Good.
I really do. And I'm just daring somebody to ask me, what year did you graduate? And I have to tell them it was 21.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That was the first year we rode for CSU.
Yes.
So you mentioned Columbus, Indiana. You know, I drive past there a lot when I go home. And I said, there's the exit right there. We go down and read these big brick columns. That's really cool. The mayor was very welcoming, but we filmed a little video there too. You remember doing that?
I do. We were at dinner.
Who was
Were we
that
at dinner?
No, it was at lunch, sitting right there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Who are we not talking about? Who is?
Who's George?
I don't remember.
You
his
came
name.
up with a quote that has stuck.
Yeah. I remember that. You were interviewing me, and it was an either or type situation.
And it was
It's
me
like
or Me, it was me or
Who?
it was him. That was so fun.
Hi, I'm Ronnie.
Who's Ronnie?
Finally.
Who's Ronnie?
No. People can go back. We posted that to our YouTube page. And by the way, if you get a chance, get over to our YouTube page and subscribe, and you can see a lot more content. But when you said that, we do that all the time now.
Yes.
All the time. Who's Ronnie? We hit him with that all the time.
So my
That
question,
was awesome. Yes.
was it your idea or was it your idea?
We'll never tell.
Oh, I'll tell.
He's an open book. Just ask him.
No, we started that earlier in the ride. It was a this or that, and some of it was just to have fun with the guys.
Yeah.
And let them get to know other people. And Ronnie and I spend all day on the phone.
Literally.
Absolutely all day on the phone, riding down the road, making the time go by. And a mind is a terrible thing when you let it wander. And two minds together wandering down a path. It was a lot of fun.
Two similar minds.
There is so much we talk about that we can't talk about.
Yep.
Our minds go, and it's funny to us.
Yeah.
It's just funny to us, and it makes the miles go by. But we were having this conversation about each of the person we were going to talk to, and we did call back to Columbus and get a couple of questions for you. I think one of them was Pepsi or Diet Pepsi, and it's neither, right?
You said Pepsi or Coke, and it's neither. It's Diet Coke. It's always Diet Coke.
That's exactly how she said it in the video.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
always
Like,
diet.
You can ask anybody on this campus,
the
any of my
answer.
friends. It is rare that I'm without a Diet Coke in my hand. Yep.
Yep. We knew that. But anyway, we had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
We really did.
It was. Another one of them was McDonald's or Countries.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was a setup.
was.
I'll be honest, I was tossing you some softballs.
Yeah. Yeah.
But not everybody got those. Like Joel, it was great. Cats or more cats.
No! No!
Never.
And that was the right answer, was
Yeah.
no.
And his expression and the way he said it was spot on as well.
Well, I had been watching those on Facebook, and so I had seen some of them that you had done. So
Yeah. So just kind of wrap up here. I want to thank you, first of all, but my definition of true philanthropy is being able to do something for someone that can never repay you.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they might not even ever know who you are.
mm-hmm.
And that's good. That's a wonderful thing. So we work very hard to do our best for Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
Two very important aspects. That's raising the money that makes the difference in the life of a child. And then the other thing is to tell their story. And so for the last several years, we were able to tell CSU's story.
Yeah.
And every time they say Columbus, oh, you mean Ohio? That just bothers me.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no. So we talk about this Columbus, and we have done a lot of work in the community. And it feels good when someone says thank you. And it's okay to take that thank you. And I just want to let you know, from me, no one has said thank you to us like CSU has. So you say we've made you feel part of it. Well, the whole campus has made us feel part of the CSU community. So it's nice. It's nice. It feels good when the CSU says thank you. But I just wanted to turn that back around and say, you have a great team here. You have good students. This is going to be tough. We've hit our $1 million, and it really is. We need to move on and make a difference in a child's life, maybe in other ways. But this has been a good ride.
Well, it has been a great ride for us, and we are so appreciative of the time, effort, and energy that y'all have put in to raising the dollars and to telling our story, because oftentimes it's the people who are not directly involved in the story. When they tell the story, it's more meaningful because it's real, it's organic. And the thank you for us is to just a great group of people who we've been able to be affiliated with. And that thank you, I think, philanthropy is about making a difference. It really is. And the difference that y'all have made, we will never be able to fully account for. And that is so powerful. One of the values of Columbus State University, and I think of Columbus, Georgia, is servant leadership. We hear that term tossed around a lot now, but we've been talking about it since the late 90s in our community. And servant leadership, I used to teach this, but it has a definition, and a lot of people don't really know what that definition is. But it's really about meeting the highest priority needs of the followers, and then understanding how you can have an impact to help them grow and become healthier, freer, wiser, more autonomous. And this is the other part, and more likely for them to become servants. And that's what y'all do. I mean, that's what the essence of the Miracle Riders are, is just grounded in servant leadership. And so y'all may not talk about servant leadership. You may not think of yourselves as servant leaders, but from our perspective, that's why this partnership has been so meaningful, is because y'all are trying to figure out what are the highest priority needs right now. How can we have an impact on those? How can we help other people to become healthier, wiser, freer, more autonomous? But you think about what you're doing for our students to help them become healthier, freer, wiser, more autonomous, so that they can go into situations where they themselves become the servants. And that's powerful in ways that we'll never be able to account for. We can account for the dollars, we can account for every cent that y'all have raised, but we will never be able to fully account for the impact that those dollars have had on the individuals who got to work on the mannequins, and what their impact was when they went into their job, because they're going to work with thousands of patients over the course of their career. And we have no idea.
That's some tough math. So one student, thousands of patients, and we graduate how many each year, and
Yeah.
these labs are going to be viable for how many years?
Exactly.
That's big math.
It is. And you're not even, that's easy math, actually. Big math is when you think about every single one of those graduates and who they're going to influence outside of the actual patient. They're going to influence family members. They're going to influence their fellow nurses. They're going to influence the doctors. They're going to influence the hospital administrators. I mean, all of that is, it truly is astronomical when you think about that ripple that is just continuing to go out. We're so grateful.
It's incredible.
It is.
It is.
Got anything else? Did
I
we leave
think
anything
that's
on the
it.
table?
Looks good to me.
It does.
Yep.
All right.
That's
Well,
Brian.
That's Ronnie. Thanks for tuning in. Good night.
Helping one child